that changed to.
We've already used up one tape?
Well, just use one up here and one there, so that'd be separate.
I didn't know it was here for that.
All right.
All right, ready?
Yes.
All right, this is the regular meeting now. Budget session is over with. First thing on the agenda is the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17th.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 17th.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I don't know why. They send the meeting out on a Friday. And the post office, for some reason, I don't know why, I cannot receive my minutes in time. I just got them this morning from the post office, but they sent them out Friday. And so,
I got mine late yesterday.
so what I'm asking Mr. Mercer to do is don't put my minutes in the post office anymore. I'll pick them up myself on Friday. Yeah, don't put the pipe in. I'll pick it up myself on Friday. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, any more discussion of these minutes? Vote to approve. How you vote? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, requisitions.
Before you go any further in the minutes, on the building permit of Mr. Alvin Dupree,
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that. It says in the minutes that you all approved the building permit for Mr. Dupree, subject to him going down to the tax assessor's office. I'll defer to the opinion of the commission, but I think what was done was he was sent to the tax assessor's office to get his building permit.
We sent him around and see if his taxes have been paid.
And because the building
Y'all
permit,
said the stipulation was the taxes had to be paid, and we told Al to go down there and with Mr. Ashby. Where's Mr. Ashby at?
He had his wife down.
But to make sure everything was done, and if they were done, then it was.
okay, and I got that part, but I just, for the minutes and with our code, the commission need not vote on building permits. Those are issued, in essence, by the tax assessor's office. So if your minutes, I understand exactly what you told Mr. Dupree, but it didn't require a vote for you all by your code. It was my understanding that he was sent down there to check his taxes were paid. If they were, the tax assessor's office would give him his building permit. So I don't want you all to have to take on jobs that you're either not required to, or the code doesn't have you do it. In this particular case, for building permits, people don't have to come to the commission. They must go to the tax assessor's office. And if their taxes are paid, and they show up with the appropriate stamped plans, the tax assessor is going to issue a building permit. So I didn't want your minutes to reflect that you all approved one. You don't have to.
Well-
And the statute doesn't give
Do
you
we
that.
have a code, is that in the code that the
Yes,
tax
sir.
assessors do this?
Yes, sir.
Because, the reason I'm asking is that, there's a situation in my district, and I'm sure it's countywide, not just one district, where there, some bureaucratic, hassles with a lady trying to get her electric reconnected for a new tenant. She's got about 9, I think, mobile homes that they have, she and her husband now dead, have rented for years. And 2 of them became vacant. She's wanting to, rent them with somebody else, and all of a sudden, you think she's dealing with the criminal, trying to go around, simply getting it reconnected.
I had one last week down there, and I got 15 phone calls about it.
Well, so I'm sure it's countywide.
It
So, how do tax assessors get involved?
And I've got, and I think opinion number 5 for you is contained in there. Your code has the tax assessor's office in charge for issuing the building permits, but there are specific statutes or ordinances that state how you do it, and it affirmatively says the word shall. We should have, and we must have, a collection of inspectors that are in 6 different areas in this county: electrical, plumbing, foundation, structural, energy, and one other. They're listed in there. That we have to have somebody licensed and qualified to conduct these inspections before electricity gets turned on, before we issue certificates of occupancy. And I did not know if any of you had known that. Obviously, as I get into this job, I get into these parts of the code. We've got a big hole we've got to fill because the code says shall, and we
But
don't.
you're talking new
What would
construction,
be-
I'm talking about reconnected.
Well,
That doesn't happen in Bibb County, doesn't happen in Jones, doesn't happen in any county I know of other than Twiggs.
all right, now when you,
Where?
Everywhere, at all the
I've
counties.
had rental property in Twiggs, and when I changed tenants, they didn't have to re-inspect it.
Well, that's
They
crazy.
have to get well, it's supposed to get a electrical permit
If it's been
And,
hooked
uh,
up within the last year, not
in
so.
30 days or more.
They're supposed to.
You
It's
have
something to
to.
do with that, I'm not aware of that. My
And that's
rental
why
property's in
the
Hawaii.
power companies are sending these tenants back to the county to have an inspection done and get an electrical permit before.
So every time you change tenants, you gotta have an electrical inspection?
If it's off, if the power is off 30 or more than 30 days, they have to do an
That's state
inspection.
law.
yes, now what, there is a provision for people who own rental property that if you sign a paper when your tenant leaves, it will automatically switch over to your name for a period of time, so the electricity never goes off. And then when your new tenant comes in.
Yeah, I have
you-
that, and
Exactly,
it's
and that's,
simply to keep the electrical going.
right, but that's also simply to keep that 30-day turn off of electricity from happening. For
But since
example,
Well, how can we stop the hassle that our citizens are experiencing simply when a tenant changes? How can we stop that?
well, if
Because
we,
that's impossible for a greenhorn to come through here and navigate this bureaucracy.
That's true. You just
Absolutely
right.
impossible.
Well, here's what happened. We had P&Z board. We dismantled that, and the board of commissioners took it over.
Did this work though?
That-
Not interrupting, but go ahead.
But that happened within 3 months of our city. And really, I didn't know anything about it until 6 more months after that. I had appointed a person to serve on P&Z. He was sitting right there. No, he's not here today.
Yeah.
And then I found out this is what we're doing. Then we officially did it by motion, vote, and second, as we should have done. But we dismantled that whole group. And we didn't want P&Z, or wanted to operate it, I think it's the word said, like Wilkinson County or somebody else.
well, what I put also in that same opinion, I understand what the board did, but our code has not been modified to reflect the fact that we no longer have a planning commissioner, we no longer have a zoning officer. So the rules of the county say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the opinion I put for you was, not from a political standpoint, but for a legal one only, so I'm not stepping on any toes. The best and easiest thing, that you have a good code, is to put the planning commission back in place with a zoning officer, with a building permit division that fulfills the details of the code as it's now written. If you don't want to do that, we have a major rewrite of the code coming,
Mm-hmm.
and
Do away with it.
it will do away with it. Now, 2 things are gonna happen. We can only do away with it so far as we bump into state law, which is still gonna require inspection, still gonna require certificates of occupancy. You're still going, it's almost gonna make it worse for your citizens instead of better. And you're gonna dismantle what, in my humble opinion, is a pretty good code system.
You haven't been someone who owns rental property, a widow, owns some rental property, all of a sudden, it's a nightmare trying to get the county to authorize her tenants. Now, it may have been state law, I wasn't aware of it, but I went 5, 6, 7 months sometimes in Bibb County and in Jones before one of mine was rented. And I didn't have to go through that.
No,
See,
what
electricity
the
on.
purpose of that is so that the power companies who push that to be passed to the legislature, that is, they have invested to put that meter on that home. And their game is, that somebody's gonna pay, the only leeway we go is 30 days. Now, if you go there as the owner and take it up, you're still gonna get that bill every month. And if power is shut off by the occupant, then unless somebody comes back in there within the 30 days, they gonna run you through this because they want that basic, if you don't use any power, you got a basic fee. They want that. If that power thing is hooked up, that's the way they do it.
We can't do anything.
This is an oppressive situation we gotta live
Well, may I humbly suggest that one of the things in the code on these sections says it's also for the protection of your citizens. For example,
Yeah.
if it's,
with. All bureaucrats say that.
well, I'm going, forget what it said, I'm talking about what's written in here. Now, for example, if you have someone who adds an addition to a house, or someone who rewires a house, or replumbs a house, and it's not inspected by a licensed individual, sure enough, the county is protected from liability, but you have people who could be hurt or killed, you have property that can be burned. I'm just saying, right now, our building permit process is properly laid out in the code. We're not fulfilling the legal requirements, and I think you're going to have, and by the way, you have both civil and criminal ramifications in here, because it does criminalize activity of going around the building code. So,
Can't we do this by independent contract instead of putting it?
yes, in other words, I'm sorry, yes, we can.
This
You
is
know,
not,
y'all
this is,
realize what it trained a certified electrician, what it would cost?
My suggestion would be that you have a panel of at least 2 professionals, 2 electricians, 2 plumbers, et cetera, and we're working on talking with the other counties of similar demographics, which I know Mr. Watson correctly would ask, what are they doing? But yes, I think you have to have a panel.
that's not what I'm asking.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
trying to make the point that you're talking about new construction and additional construction. I'm talking about existing buildings.
Now, existing buildings falls under state law that if the electricity's turned off
Of
for 30
30
days.
or more than 30 days, you have to
I'm
get
telling
it.
you, the practice, that's only in Twiggs County and has not
But
always
since we
been
don't
so.
have an inspector, we should require them to get a licensed electricianer to
Why?
come in, because we have to get a licensed electricianer to do the inspection, and then they're responsible for putting their name on the signature and the county release the power. That's
the
since we don't
bureaucratic
have an
side of it. Let's
inspector.
take it real people side. You own rental property, your tenants change probably every year and a half, maybe more frequently. And every year and a half or every 6 months, you gotta go through this hassle?
No, you
Yes,
just sign.
because the power company requires us to have that inspection done.
That's part of the answer. But if you just sign the free paper, it never comes, it doesn't affect you. For example, if you
You're
ever.
talking about if the landlord agrees to pick up the bill the moment they leave.
Exactly. That'd be part of the cost of doing
That's a bad
business.
answer, because not everybody wants to do that.
Well, that's the, then the other option falls to what this law is. I mean, we're talking about electricity. People get hurt. But those are the 2 options under law right now. We can't, even if we change our code.
How are the other counties getting away with it?
They
They're
don't.
not.
They
Other
don't. They
counties
doing
have to
that.
do it as well.
Pardon?
Other counties are required to do it as well. I work in 13 that do.
Get named one county that requires a vacancy to be re-inspected.
Bibb County, Houston County,
Bibb doesn't.
Twiggs County, Baldwin
Practice, they
County.
do not.
Yes,
Baldwin
sir.
County.
That property, they don't.
They currently do.
Baldwin
Can I
County
say
does.
something a little bit on it too, cause what you're saying is really getting out, and I know, now, if when you turn the power off at Runner House most time, when the power plant, if there's a deficiency, then they have you to do everything. But if it's not a deficiency, that would just boot up, they come back and put the meter on.
Exactly.
They don't put the meter unless it's a deficiency
Everywhere
there.
except suddenly Twiggs County.
That's
That
why,
that's not even good for the public, for Twiggs County that way. Now, if it's a deficiency and power company don't put it on, I can understand it. But if there's no deficiency, that shouldn't have to be every month because somebody, it may be somebody didn't pay your light bill for 30 days. You won't put a burden on it then, because you add more to it for a licensed electrician to come in then and say it's okay to put the meter on. That don't make sense.
There's also differences in power companies too, and their.
Because I'm an electrician, but I work on a licensed
Like I
electrician.
say, I've had.
And I know how to go.
Does not exist in practice.
Well, that's a big liability, you go sign off to put a power back on the property.
That's cool, Mr. Chairman.
They're gonna come back to you.
If it's not a deficiency, the power people will put it on there.
Let me say this here, let me say this here. We own this when we came in the first of 13, that we opened up this county commission meeting that the public have a right to speak. But when we going through problems, we said that they speak after we get through with it. And so now, when we are talking, when we are trying to get a problem solved here, I prefer that the county commissioner talk with the people that we are talking to, and that the public, our meeting said the public have the right to, when we get through with me, you have the floor. That's what we approved. That way it's set up.
Well, it needs to be changed, Mr. Bryant.
Okay.
Because we work for the public.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got time to sit here and let people voice their opinion or get information out. So, yeah, I know how it was run before, and it's actually just ridiculous. It's like you going before a Russian congregation.
So you
I'm speaking, Mr. Chairman.
Like I said, my brother's a licensed electrician. I done wired houses from Bill, Houston, over here in our next county, Lawrence, and Wilkerson. I wired them all around. And Bill County had approved the work that I done under my brother for years and years.
You working under your brother?
Under my brother, right, under him. How has his more meters been put on the work that I have done on him because I work under him. The thing of it is that, but what we're talking about, it's really crazy when you talk about 30 days and there's no deficiency to the meter. The only thing changes, the tenant change.
That's right.
If it's a deficiency, I agree with it. Yeah, if he come in and he sees a deficiency on that wire anywhere on that side, I can understand him say, all right, you need to get a lot of electrician to come in here and update. But if it's not a deficiency, that don't make sense.
Okay.
Because 30 days can be because somebody didn't pay their light
Do
bill.
y'all have a copy of that law? Do y'all have a copy of the law?
Yes.
It's in the
How
code.
much
It's
does
in
it
the
charge
code.
somebody to
I didn't
go in
bring
and
my-
look at this thing?
Well, see, like I said, the way they're doing it now, my brother had to do it because he had the license. Permit
Work under his
to work under here. I wouldn't give a prize to do that.
The question is, why should we hit the property owner with unnecessary expenses?
That's right. You gonna put a more burden because if you think about 30 days, that could even be because you weren't able to pay the bill.
Right.
But now you talking about when they come back, they done got the money to pay the bill now. You got to pay the license electrician, and it's not cheap for them to come in then just to say the meter's okay. That's not. If it's not an efficient, I can't see it.
If that regulation, which I'm sure exists, and you're gonna give us a copy of it, I guess, if that, then I assure you, they don't have anything in there about every 30 days, we're gonna inspect the electric because something might have happened.
See, I got a call yesterday. I got a call the same you're talking about yesterday. I didn't have no idea. I don't know nothing about it. But now I do have more understanding why. Because the people that called me yesterday were saying that they needed a lot of electric. Now, so what he called, I had to get in contact with him, brother, to come down there. Okay. But it's saying because it was just a tenant change. That's all it was. They were changing tenants. Another person was moving into the house.
Gotcha. Understand very well.
And they hit me yesterday. I had no idea of it. What was going on?
If they just said the tenants, I agree with y'all. But now, if anything's been vacant like this place been down for 10 years,
That's another story.
that's another thing here. Now, I think it needs to be
Most
inspected.
power companies have a 12 months cut on, cut off inspection, cut on, cut off.
I think it's easier to just get a licensed electrician, and since we don't have an inspector, to just sign off on that electrical permit. Let him go do the walkthrough to make sure it's right. No, because we don't have an inspector. And then once an electrician has signed off on that permit, he's licensed, we know he inspected it and it's safe for us to release the
The
power.
inspection.
Because we do not have an inspector. So, and I think that's the safest thing to
This place
do.
has been hooked up 10 years, it needs to be inspected.
If it's more than a year,
And
I
she's
understand.
willing to pay for it.
You rather pay $25 than paying more money for if something happened
And make sure
to
it's
that
safe.
house, if
That's
the
the
wiring
same
is not
argument, you need
safe.
to inspect it every 2 weeks, make sure nothing's wrong with it.
No, we're not
Same
saying
argument.
20, we only do that when the power company, requires us to get an inspector. But since we don't have an inspector, it's a logic thing to do is to get a licensed electrician. to sign off on that permit.
You say
and
that because you're not paying the bill.
Well, I'm working for the county and
Yeah,
I'm
but you're wanting to lay a big expense on an individual.
I'm
who's
not
property,
laying
and
this-
there's always someone
it's
that
from
pays
the,
taxes on that
the
property,
ordinance.
which pays all our
Hold
salaries.
on, man, hold on, wait a minute, let's go back to.
Let me say this.
We
Mr.
talking about different issues right here. When somebody run a property, I agree with, I don't think it needs to be inspected. And if that's state law, somebody created a law, that'll only be no different.
Can we have a copy of that law that you're quoting?
It's in the,
Well, the one about the state law we don't have. I didn't know that was, the one about the county code is section 5 in Dave's memos, section, pages 2, 3, and 4. It's set out for you right there.
What does it say?
It says, any owner who desires to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or alter it in any way.
Okay, get to the rental part.
Yeah.
There is, the rental part falls under the state law. In other words, you said there are two things. I don't have the statute on the state law for rental property. We'll get that for you, okay? But I think what I was talking about on our permitting process is not the rental property, but what we do when we alter, demolish, change,
Oh,
new
there's
construction.
There's no
or existing-
argument on that.
I
Okay,
got no
all right.
argument on it.
Then I'll have that one for you in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you don't
meantime,
need to-
what
I
are these people
understand that
supposed to do?
perfect.
She's got tenants ready to
Go
move
back,
in,
let get the
and
licensed
she's got to get
electrician.
property rights.
Let them walk through it. If they building a room addition on this thing, if it comes up to the
Then, what, out of an abundance of caution, my legal advice would be to get a licensed inspector to inspect it at a cost of $50.
That's right.
In
That's
between
exactly
now and
right.
2 weeks.
And that
If I-
takes Switch County liability, that throws
Well,
out.
it also, if that,
no more
and in 2 weeks, if I come back and I say, you know, you did, the law, Ms. Waters and I misunderstood it, misquoted it, then I'll tell you what, I'll pay a check back to $50 to this lady. But the point is, to protect yourselves in between now and then, as I understand the law, there are only 2 ways to go if you're in the business
But you
of
haven't
rental
seen
property.
this law, right?
Huh?
You haven't seen this
No, I've
law.
been subject to it. In other words, in Bibb County, if you turn the electricity off for more than 30 days, you do have to get a new certificate to turn it back on. The other option in the business of rental property is to put your name on the account so that when one tenant leaves, it goes to your name and it doesn't turn off.
And you pay the bill.
Of course, but that's part of the cost of doing business.
Not necessarily.
By my definition, my hypothetical, yes it is. I apologize, I don't like it, but
Mr. Chairman, evidently this is an issue we're not gonna be
We're
able
not
to
gonna
solve
solve
today.
today, no.
But
So
I'll
I'd
have it
like
ready
to go
for you
back
in 2
to
weeks.
the agenda, and let's move.
Okay,
I want to take you
Mr. Chairman,
all right, where we at?
Requisition.
Requisition. What we got? Requisition, what we got?
Mr. Chairman, I offer motion that we approve, we have 3, that we approve these 3,
And we have an additional one that's.
which is that.
Laying here on the table, yeah.
What is the $14,000 worth of TS? What is TS
And
units?
I have the same question.
It is
Touch
touch screen
Touch
voting
screen.
machines.
That she came in and requested those things about replacements. Okay, and she was here a minute ago.
She mentioned that in the budget here,
Yes, she did.
and she said she had to replace it,
Mm-hmm.
and we put it in there, I
I
think.
just didn't know what TS was.
I didn't, I had to find out this morning when I got here. All right?
That motion, Mr. Chairman, includes, requisition 4.
The one on the table here, Sharon Ray Department.
No, the school.
But Sam, let me say this here just a minute. I had called him to call Bibb County, and they said Bibb County said that it's no law. He said, but what they do is that they come in, get a permit, and then the electric people, like Georgia Power, O'Connor, they come in. That way Bibb County said they use that. Just got in Bibb County.
I thought that's the way they done it too, Tom. They
It has
told me
been
last
until
week that.
They said they don't
that's
have,
why They don't do that no more.
they said they don't do that. They said that what they have said, I asked was there state law on that, and they said, no, like you, RICA like a person moved out and someone coming in, said that all thing they do is come down there and get a permit, and then they give it to Georgia Power Oconee, and then they come out and do the inspection.
Right.
That
But you
what
don't
she
pay
said.
Georgia Power for doing that.
We knew that we were doing that here, I believe.
Yeah, I think you were one
Yeah,
time.
I'm talking about, we were doing that
I'm gonna
here.
go back to that. They
Well,
electrical people, they know what's going on, what's not going on.
Mr. Chairman, if you're gonna do that, then you're gonna go back and we're gonna have to change our position as of what, 18 months ago, and reinstate a board of what?
Plain and
All
simple.
right, let's take a look, let's go and get through these
Thank you,
resolutions.
thank you.
Right, Tom.
All right, I got a motion on the floor to approve these resolutions. Do we have a second? All right, any more, and we include the one on the table right here, the radar bar, right?
Yes,
The-
training.
That's our grand school. Okay, any more discussion of that? How you vote? Yes. All right. That's approved.
Mr. Chairman, I'll put a motion on the floor regarding the subject we were just on. And that motion is that, we follow the system used in other counties, which is, come down to the commissioner's office for a electrical permit, and that permit be forwarded to Oconee Electric on the two properties in question. That being property number Wyatt Drive, W-Y-A-T-T, number 14 and number 28, Wyatt Drive, Macomb 31217. It's Oconee Electric, I believe. I'm not sure. It's not Oconee in Tri-County, I believe it's Oconee.
All right, we got a motion. Got a second?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
And now we're in discussion.
Yeah.
I think if we gonna,
Didn't we tell last week this thing needs to be in the, they needed to go apply for it at the tax?
Tax
Mr.
assessment.
Allen.
Yes, sir. It needs to go to the tax assessor's office. By our statute, the tax assessor will issue a permit. Now, if the Wyatt Drive properties are in fact just rental properties where there's been
That's
no
what they are.
alteration, if it is, then I'll have an opinion for you, and I'll try to get it within 48 hours for you as to what they do. But if it's an alteration of any kind, which is what I understood the discussion started out on, if I misunderstood, I
You
take
did
it back.
misunderstand, existing properties.
But as the discussion started out, I understood, we talked about new construction and,
No, new construction is not an issue.
but even if you alter an existing structure. Now,
That's not an issue either.
right now, what we're talking about is a standing structure, no changes except for tenants after 30 days.
Precisely.
Okay, now, I think your motion ought to reflect that, so you don't create a precedent or you create any conflict
Conflict with that right there.
with your code, which is good. Your code is good. All right, and I will get with
Well, if
Oconee.
that being the case, how do we avoid a delay? How do we go ahead before these tenants leave and go somewhere else while they're waiting on our bureaucracy?
I'm hoping the bureaucracy will be resolved in 48 hours. I can't,
It's been going on for a while now. When did they first talk to you, 2 or
Did
3
this
days
lady ever
ago?
got electricity cut on? With what? Have they got electricity cut on?
No, that's the problem. They change in tenants and of course their electricity gets cut off. And in Twiggs County, you're lucky if you can get a tenant from 3 or 4 months, but that's what they're doing. And a new tenant can't move in because they can't get the electricity turned on. And electricity comes in down here and world-class bureaucracy hits them in the face.
well, we
In
had,
other words,
straighten it
let me put this in, let me get this thing on. You rent an apartment. You move
This
in-
place with trouble.
All right, well, trailer, apartment, whatever. You rent it, you moving out, I'm moving in. Have I got to get this thing inspected for this? The meter, if
They're
it's my
saying
name, the
30
meter's changed
days.
from Mr. Watson's name to my name.
no, I think what happens at that point is they just come, as a phone call said to Bim, you go down, you apply for a permit, she'll give you the permit
Yeah.
right away. At that point, they contact Oconee, EMC, or Georgia Power, They come out, take a look at it, and they turn the
Well,
electricity
they
on.
couldn't get the permit though.
They can get
They
it
gonna charge me then?
for the permit.
Yeah,
Was
for
it
Old
$10?
Coney coming out and
This
looking at
lady
it.
was unable to get one.
Oconee may charge you,
Yeah.
but the county's not gonna charge you.
Well, they've been charging $25 for the permit.
Yeah,
That's what turned over to
but
me.
this is, again, just what we heard happens in Bibb County.
Why in the world I gotta get a permit when he's just moving out and I'm moving
I
around
don't
to
know.
get in? He's
You
walking
tell
out
me.
the door today and I'm walking in.
It's not up to you. They don't
It
want
was
what you
turned
get.
over to me and said $25, so I'm just,
That's
but
what we
I
got
just
with
wanted to start out new and tell
Who
me
said
what I needed to do.
$25, by the way?
This thing has been running
Who said
continuously.
From the
He's
fees.
moving out, I'm moving in.
From the
I'm
fees,
still
the
got
fee
that
schedule that you
You got
have,
a
from the
list.
planning and
You got a
zoning,
list. You
is
got a list.
$25 for the electrical
You
permit.
got a list.
Did that make a sense?
Get a $25 permit.
Yeah.
That's a different question. I'm just, what I'm going on is what we have for a code. And what I want to call and find out with Oconee is, hypothetically, you just set out, do they need anything from us? If they don't, it may be just a private business transaction, then you don't have to come here.
Well, let me say something. Georgia Power guy came here and met with us, and they don't do inspections. The only thing that they inspect is from the meter base to the pole. That's all. Anything
That's
beyond
pretty
that.
much all in it, the electrical companies do.
So you tell me what I need to do. Do I need to issue the permit for
Well,
$25?
my motion is to issue it.
So, yeah.
We in discussion, I think that we should, since we're gonna wait for the attorney's opinion on everything else, we just wait until he get us an opinion.
I think it should too, so.
Just tie it all
And I'll
up to
get it in
the.
48 hours.
And we'll vote on it if we like what you put in.
We gotta wait on everything else and we have.
Well, I'd like to report that if I call Oconee and we straighten out the problem, we eliminate the bureaucracy on the narrow exception that Mr. Watson's presented in his motion. Because if I can call back and say I don't need to get a permit on that, that's fine. What my participation in the discussion was our building permit, our permitting process needs to be fixed as a whole. And I apologize, Mr. Watson, I didn't mean to take your hypothetical and you're all into that. I'll get that resolved on your narrow issue on the White Drive property right away, and I'll call
On
you.
rental property, period.
On rental property, period.
And when you get that opinion, drop it here by
I'll give it to
whatever.
everybody.
Chairman call a meeting, we get together and we decide what we're gonna
And
do.
if we can resolve it without having a meeting, even better. Because
Yeah,
it may be a
we-
policy you don't have to do anything about.
Yeah, we need to,
That's
we
good.
need to look
I'll
at
get
it.
it in 48 hours.
Okay.
Alright, now we got this motion and we got a second, so we're gonna have a vote on it.
Wait a minute, in the meantime, she tell these, this lady that owns it now, her husband's dead, that, we're gonna study it, their attorney's gonna come back and.
I told him go ahead and hook it up.
That's my motion to hook it up. That is my motion.
May I ask or add something?
Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, this is not new.
Okay, that lady with the health department.
I know, but, they have a.
You got a permit that the same way. What is it, ma'am?
I just want to clarify that when a mobile home is moved in or out, there's also, even if it's rental property, there are conditions that have to be met with the health department too, and I don't want that to be negated by this motion in any way.
Where does moved in or out come from?
If a
So you're
mobile,
not talking about this is existing property already.
right, I just heard something being said about a mobile home being moved, and I just want to make sure.
I didn't.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to.
Ms. Chairman, she's gonna explain to you what O'Connor would do when we were done with O'Connor. Explain to her.
Generally, what they
When
would
they-
do, when someone come in and want power put on to a residence, they will come in and get an electrical permit from us. We would get it down to Oconee, and Oconee would check everything out. If everything wasn't fine, they would let me know or let someone know, and they wouldn't hook up the power. But if everything was okay, they would just hook it up.
That was my understanding also.
Right.
But they just check from the power line to the meter base, right?
That's right.
That's all they ever check.
That's
That's
all
all
they
they
check.
ever check. They don't check the inside.
Oh.
Alright.
So
All right,
anyway, how long have we been doing it that way?
Since 2013.
Ever since it came.
So why should we continue doing what we're doing until we have further notice?
Can't do it for 13.
Ain't got a problem. Alright, we got a motion. Read it one more time, Mark.
Vice Chairman Watson made a motion to have all citizens follow the procedures used in other counties to come to the courthouse to get an electrical permit.
Let me restate that motion. I'd like to change it. I withdraw it. Will you withdraw
I
this?
withdraw it.
All right, and I move that we follow the same procedures that we have been using since 2013 and furnish the necessary electrical permit on the two properties I just mentioned, which were Wyatt Drive, number 14 and number 28 Wyatt Drive, both of which are mobile homes that have been there for a long time and ready for a long time.
Okay. Anybody want to second this?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Any more discussion of this?
Yes. That procedure was set up based on the previous procedures in operation prior to 2013, which included a planning and zoning office and having a planning and zoning chief and a certified inspector giving the okay to Oconee or Georgia Power or whoever. And that was a process which met the requirements, I believe, of the code that we are working under.
And we abolished that.
And we abolished it.
The reason why it was abolished because Robertson, he was on the planning and zoning board. He came in, sat right there and got up, said that they were not having no kind of meeting. That's what he said. He said that he resigned because he didn't know what was going on. Said that the planning and zoning wasn't having no meeting. Now that's what Mr. Robertson said right here.
I beg to differ, Mr. Bryant.
Well, you have,
What happened was that, let me carry it back to
Okay, hold
you.
on, you through, Tom?
Yeah, I'm talking about that's what I heard now.
Okay.
He had a right to beg to
Let's
differ,
see
you
what
know.
Mr. Bond had.
Okay.
That's what I heard him say.
Well, I know what he said, and he said that because this board, without taking a vote, well, they took it when I wasn't here. And I was under the impression that we still had a P&Z board and we had some vacancies. I appointed Mr. Robertson to fill that vacancy. And then he came in and said they're not having any meeting. He wanted to know what was going on. I most certainly wanted to know what was going on myself. Then I found out, oh, we don't have a P&Z board. And I said, well, when did you demolish it? We haven't demolished it, or we demolished it, but I asked when. Nobody could tell when. 3 months later, I put the motion on the board. I brought it up in this meeting. That if you have abolished the P&Z, please, somebody give a motion on the board and let us do it legally and effective as it should be done. But Mr. Robertson came here and reported something that I didn't know. Or I wouldn't have put him on a board that didn't exist. I didn't know it didn't exist. Because the motion wasn't put on the floor here. It was just something people just did. And then the motion came and we officially abolished all what you were talking about.
Did no committee.
This is what has happened. Now, from a legal standpoint, you want to go back and say that we have this. Mr. Floyd is correct. This is the way it happened.
Did no commission know that they wasn't having meeting until Mr. Robertson come in and told us that they weren't having any
Who
meeting.
abolished it, Mr. Brown?
I don't know who about it. The board was still existing when Mr. Robertson come in here and said that they wasn't having any meeting.
The board did not exist. I appointed Mr. Robertson to a board that did not exist.
Well,
So it was demolished at that time.
Well, now, Mr. Robertson come in here and said that they wasn't having any meeting. He resigned. That's what Mr. Robertson said. Now I go back and get the men, let the men
He
show.
did say that.
That's what he said.
I understand that. I'm giving you the chronological order by which we got to what Mr. Robertson said.
Yeah.
He most certainly said that.
He said that.
But this board, or members of this board, just took upon themselves, we're going to do away with it, and did it. And it didn't exist. And then later we put a motion on the board, on the floor, that actually officially did away with it.
Did away with it.
All right,
I just
that's
brought up how it came about. I just brought up how it came about.
That's the way it came about.
That's the way it came
So
about.
So, all right, let's wait a minute now. All right, any more discussion of this thing?
Mr. Chairman, two things. One, I respectfully submit the motion as drafted exposes a lot of people to potential civil and criminal liability, which I can't address or answer for until I have the answer. And I apologize for the delay it causes, but I want to caution all of you about that, number one.
So what's your recommendation?
I respectfully request we wait 48 hours to see if we can address this issue, because of course, the other thing about the Wyatt Drive properties is they are mobile homes, which does trigger some other things. Number one. Number two, I hear discussion about your planning and zoning, planning board no longer being active or even effective, but understand, there's no resolution that reflected in the official code of Twiggs County that that's been done. I'm not surprised that some commissioners don't know about it, because it's not in the code.
It's in the, it's a part of our official minutes now, and we did that about 6 or 8 months ago. But now we have abolished it. Now, if you're gonna go back to that system, then you're gonna have to reset it up. That's why I'm trying to say, you're referencing things that don't exist.
I understand that, Mr. Bond. My problem as a new attorney since then is your code says it does.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say.
And I don't mean to disrespect, I'm just saying, what I got to work with for rules says it does.
Well, I wanna pull it out of the emphasis of the unknown, because our minutes say that, what, we don't have a P and Z board.
I know the record show who's supporting who is.
All right, read this motion one more time.
Vice Chairman Watson made a motion to follow the same procedures used since 2013 and issue permits to the mobile homes in question on Wyatt Drive. Second.
We got a second. Any more discussion? This will take care of these mobile homes that's been on Wyatt Drive, right?
That's right. 2 of them.
2 of them.
The others aren't, some are vacant, some aren't.
How long these things been vacant?
One since December, and the other one since last July. Nowhere near a year. This is a different.
All right, how you vote? Yes.
No, Mr. Chairman, to clarify that, I want to clarify that position. We can't piecemeal the law. Either we're gonna set something in motion, or we're not. And when you set it in motion, then we're gonna have to manage it. That's all I'm saying.
You gonna have this thing with us for 48 hours?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna change my vote in a minute then.
Well, what is the vote? I don't understand.
No,
You got 1, 2 yes. How you?
no.
No? Mr.
No.
Bond? No. And I'm
3 notes.
But with stipulation that you answer was in 48 hours.
And how many hours
Correct.
later will you act?
When we feel we're in a proper position, that's when I cast my ballot.
I'll get it to Mr. Mercer by noon, what's day?
Thank you.
Noon Thursday.
Thursday.
By noon Thursday. I'll
Can
get
y'all
Mr.
wanna go
Mercer.
ahead and let's call a meeting Thursday afternoon and we'll see what our position is, we'll take a vote on it.
I agree with that, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right?
You have a call meeting?
Call meeting for Thursday afternoon,
So
what,
that too,
3 o'clock, suit y'all?
Be fine with me.
That suit
You
you?
give me a little time.
3 o'clock suit y'all? 3 o'clock?
If we get it from him, he said that,
Will you
Yes
bring it
and
to
no.
us Thursday afternoon? Can you come to the
can we
meeting?
do it by phone?
No, we need
No.
to take more discussion.
Oh, we need to sign, look at that.
Thursday, you all have us in mediation in Atlanta on the EEOC complaint. But I will have an answer to you, I'll be available by phone for you, subject to what we're doing at the mediation, but that, I'll have breaks in that.
Will you be here Friday morning?
I believe I can be here Friday.
Y'all wanna vote on it Friday morning?
Be fine with me.
Mr. Chairman, I have to get somebody to fill in now, I'm off Friday.
My opinion is what I have today, there's 3 people that don't think so, so y'all make the decision.
That's what we're doing, Mr. Watson. We
When?
go to
When?
Friday morning.
What day?
When you gonna have this thing for?
We made the decision,
You
wait
gonna
on
be
the
on all day
attorney
Thursday?
report.
When you gonna have it?
Probably all day.
Look at what he got. That's what the motion said.
We're leaving at 7:45 a.m., it starts at 10. We're gonna probably
Let's go
roll.
with Thursday afternoon, you'll be available phone, you can give us a recommendation.
I can do that by phone.
Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock.
Yes.
You'll be here, right?
I'll be here.
Okay. Everybody agree with that?
You said 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock,
Okay.
We gonna have a call meeting.
on me, Thursday afternoon. 3 o'clock.
Well, why don't we have it 7 o'clock? because they'll be out of there then. I want this attorney down here with us, let's have it 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but you'll be way in Atlanta at that time.
7 o'clock, I'm talking about Thursday night.
Oh,
I'm talking about Thursday night. I'm talking about Thursday night. We said we want the attorney here, we can't do it by phone, so make the meeting 7 o'clock Thursday night, or either 6 o'clock Thursday night.
Let's go 7, because if we get to 4 o'clock, we're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah,
getting out of
7
there.
o'clock Thursday.
That's what I was just
Well,
thinking.
seven
I'll
o'clock.
be here at 7. I'll
7
be here at
o'clock
8,
Thursday
here
night.
at 9. Anytime, 7 or later, I'll be here. 7 o'clock Thursday, yeah.
What time y'all want?
Well, there's a motion on the floor for 3. I just said,
Can we, no, we ain't made a motion.
Does it matter?
That's a problem for you.
How they go by the phone. Yeah, but
Oh, no, no,
we have to guard EEOC.
when can you do it by person?
7 o'clock or later.
The motion probably needs to be changed.
So ain't made a motion. You wanna do it, y'all wanna do it at 7?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, hold a call meeting on 7 o'clock on Thursday evening to handle the zoning problems and any other thing that might come before this meeting.
Okay. Got a motion? I'll second it for you. Any other discussion? How you vote? Yes. All right. Okay.
that way,
Attorney will be here.
Ms.
Yeah.
Ramon, will you be here too?
Yes, because that way, we were on the calendar today, but we'll hold off until then, because that's our main concern is the
Okay,
zoning and
well,
permit.
we need y'all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need y'all.
Yeah,
All right, let's get on with our appointments, so we won't hold these folks up. Mr. Elmo Richardson, what you got for us, sir?
Elmo's in, this sound familiar?
Real familiar though.
Oh, yeah. Fortunately, I've been out of 26 months now. Don't miss it a bit. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. I just wanted to take just a few minutes to bring you up to date on the water system situation, the DCA project over on Ridge Road and that area, and Dry Branch area. Well, the pump has been changed out at Dry Branch, Black Bottom, and that is back in operation and working just fine, and increased capacity for that system itself. That's done, completed. The well has been drilled, the permanent pump has been installed, the tank has been installed. I think we're waiting for a little decent weather so they can finish painting and placing that tank into operation. Chemical feed house building has been completed. It's essentially ready to start operating. We anticipate that water will be on the system within the next 2 weeks. We thought maybe possibly by the end of this week, but weather's not cooperated exactly. We're running a little bit behind with that. We are way ahead of schedule as far as the Department of Community Affairs is concerned. They had set a deadline of October the 1st, I believe. We'll be 6 months ahead of that, or 5 or 6 months ahead of that. I talked with DCA about 10 days ago. They're well pleased with the progress. I think everything is going along real well. We haven't encountered any problems to date. When we get water on the system, of course, it has to be flushed, sterilized, and the lines have to be tested because they've been sitting now for over 2 years without any pressure or water on that system. And then, assuming we don't have very many leaks, the leaks will have to be repaired, fixed, and then the customers can be connected. I'd be glad to answer any questions along that line.
I believe that our target date was March 27th or thereabouts.
Somewhere around.
Are we gonna be close to that?
We'll be real close. We had some delays because of the weather. The weather's rain, cold, couldn't work for certain days. We're pleased with the progress. The contractors moved right along in spite of the weather. So even if we have to provide an extension of time, I don't anticipate that being a problem.
We have a lot of supervision there. Some of them on payroll and several of them not.
But that will be water running in the home on
I would say hopefully early April, water should be in the houses. The ones that signed up and connected, meters will be installed and operated. We're pleased with the progress. I think it's been a long process that we've gone through since a year ago. Well, next month it'll be exactly a year ago when you asked me to, about the 1st of April, you asked me to take a look at it. So I think we've accomplished a lot in these last 11 months, and we're pretty pleased with the process. The Georgia Environmental Finance Authority is pleased. They haven't had any comments. Move right along.
When do we have to, by the contract we signed with GEPA, when do we have to adjust that rate? What date? The day we start?
Actually, I was looking back, last Tuesday, July the 29th, you voted to increase the water rates to the base rate to $23.50.
Effective when?
That was to be effective within 30 days. Now, I have not confirmed that actually took place, and I've asked Garner earlier whether or not that had been done. I don't know. I'll confirm that with your water department. But that was to be taken place by.
You say base rate now, that's just a flat rate, and then you go to the unit prices?
That's for the first 2,000 gallons.
First 2,000 gallons?
$23.50 was the rate that was supposed to have been set in August of 2000.
We should have went to that rate then.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were supposed to have done it then.
All right, now, and then what's your unit after that?
I don't recall. I don't have the rate structure with me.
Okay, but you all are doing that?
Right,
Okay. Could you forward that information down to this office, please?
yes, we will. Get that information and get the rates, and we may want to take a look at that and come back with another recommendation, probably in the next 30 days. on that. See if any other adjustments, because your water system is operating in a deficit. You don't have enough customers to.
See, when those programs first set up, they are supposed to be self-contained.
They should be.
That was the law then, and you have to set the rate. Not only
I don't think
to
you can raise the rates enough to make it self-sufficient
Well,
at this time. I think the best way to do it is to gain more customers. You know?
Well, naturally you do that, but that's why it's designed to work in a concentrated area. But the extension from one area to another one, as long as your capacity at your well is sufficient, the extension cost isn't that much. Not only that, as I remember, it's 20 years in the collection. You must have an amount in there where it is replaceable within that time. It never should be any public funds as far as taxes spent on these kind of units, these kind of endeavors. So that's what I'm trying to get at. And I've been having a heck of a time trying to determine what a base unit price should be, and also per number of people.
I'll be glad to go back and take a look at
Thank
that
you.
based on your latest audit.
When was that supposed to go, August of what?
That was, it was supposed to have been set within 30 days after July the 29th of 2000.
So it's been August 29th. All right, it should
I'll
have been
check
23
on-
what?
I'll check.
23 what?
23.50 was the base. It was $21, and then you will raise it to 23.50.
23.50.
For 2,000 gallons.
Right. For the first 2,000 gallons, and then you pay so much per thousand.
After that.
$5 that.
Let me,
$5 in addition
Broken
to.
down in hundreds.
Mr. Chairman, let me say this here.
But I'll get that information, put it together, and come back with a recommendation probably next month.
Okay. The reason why, I'm talking about the reason why we are in a deficit of the water system is
That's
that
a bad tub, like my kid, go turn it on, leave it up.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll wait till they finish.
Go ahead, I've been waiting on you all to finish gossiping over there all morning. So go ahead, I apologize.
the reason why that we are in the situation that we was in is that because when they started that project, they had to have so many people sign up. And so what we were running here was that in order to have, you had to get the whole water system to people. What we had here, we were letting people pay what they could for water bill, $5. We had got to the point where we was over $12,000 that we had not collected from people that water bill. And so we trying to collect that back now. So that's why we were having that deficit in our water system. Because I believe if it had been functioning like it's supposed to be in the way we had set it out that you pay your water bill, I think that we wouldn't have been in the situation that we was in.
Well, the biggest problem you have is the considerable debt that you have on the system, and that's what
really.
So without that, and as far as operating costs is concerned, you're in the ballpark. But when you're having to pay that debt service, principal and interest payments every year, well, that really hurts you. You know, you've got a lot of debt on this system, and you don't need to be incurring any more debt.
That's true.
So, you know, beyond this, anything you do in the future should be done possibly with splash funds or something like that.
But see, here's what you're gonna run into. This is why the system was set up looking at that amount of financing from the start. Number one, it's unfair. Number two, you're not gonna get people to support a splash for that. If I'm living in the 85%, got a wheel down, they pay for it and they getting water. They don't feel, you can't entice people to go pay for a water system for somebody else, you know. And that's why it was set up in the manner that it was set up. It was never supposed to be spending any tax money.
Well, that's true, it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, most systems operate without tax dollars, or should act.
That's right.
And, you know, the rates pay for
Should carry it, yeah.
They carry it, and they should.
Just have so much tremendous amount of debt to start with before we ever
Well, I
operate.
think a lot of that debt was incurred because of Academy Sports and providing water and sewer for that facility out there, and that was the beginning of that. And so that,
Yeah.
when you put that debt on there, of course, you created a lot of jobs in the process, but.
Yeah, but you broke a whole lot of law.
You got-
Maybe
Can't
6
do
or
that.
8 for the county.
so-
Not 6
Yeah,
or
there's no
1,
obligation
6
to
or
they
8.
hire people from here. Nowhere.
But anyway, I wanted to bring you up to date this morning, and
Appreciate
I
it.
think it's moved right along, and
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
so,
Appreciate all the good work y'all do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Carla Coley. Health Department.
Good morning.
Come on.
I just wanted to come to you guys and talk to you a little bit about some basic maintenance at the health department. That building is in the area of about 20 years old, and there's just some basic maintenance that hasn't been done throughout the years, and it has just progressively led to some more severe problems at the health department, and that's one of the issues that I wanted to talk to you about. Back in the fall, there were some pretty severe roof leaks, and the roof was replaced. Also, we were having some problems with the heating and air systems that are in the attic. And there are issues there with the plumbing. The pans don't get cleaned out frequently, and they leak. The roof leaks were fixed. The pans do leak on occasion, but the ceiling tiles have never been replaced since the roof has leaked. And there are some areas in the health department, there's a file room, a clinic room, in the lab, in the clerk area, where the ceiling tiles are still stained, and in the immunization room, there are some actual tiles that are missing. In fact, directly over where the clients come to sit to get their immunizations, they can look up and see insulation and a hole in the ceiling. It's been asked that the tiles be replaced, and they've come and brought the tiles to do the replacement several months back, but yet the tiles haven't been replaced yet. And that's a concern for us. With the heating and air leaks, there was, back in the fall, the pans overflowed and flooded the carpet in the clerk's area. That particular clerk has some allergy issues and sinus issues. The carpet was not replaced. It was soaked over the weekend. And since that point in time, she's developed some pretty severe allergy issues that seem to get better when she's away from the office. And they came this weekend and cleaned the carpet. And don't know if that's going to help, but this has been several months in the making. And we had hoped that that carpet would get replaced just because of the mold issues. My job is environmental health, so one of the things that I deal with on a routine basis is healthy homes, indoor air quality, and mold issues.
Do you see mold?
The carpet is stained where it overflowed, but
Do you
until
see mold?
we have not pulled the carpet back, no sir. No one has pulled the carpet back. It was not pulled back to dry. All they did was bring in fans to dry it, but they didn't pull it back to dry the underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't clean the pan, the drain for the pan in the attic?
We
Clean
do
it up,
not,
we'll
no
do
sir,
it
it's a
once a
county
week.
building, and we don't go up in the attic and do it, no sir.
Who cleans your building?
Jamie McDaniel and Amanda McDaniel,
Jamie cleans it? I thought he was a deputy.
but he has a bid to clean the.
He what?
He received the bid to clean the health department.
Well, I think that should certainly, anybody that's got a air conditioning in the ceiling that has a drain pan on it, certainly that should be part of cleaning, I would think.
It's not in the contract. It's just like
Why don't y'all put
bathrooms
it in
and.
there if y'all got them under
Peanut
contract?
was going down there, Peanut, who's taking, you got some,
Steve, yeah.
you hire somebody to take Peanut's place?
Yeah, I'm talking about, I can't understand why we ain't never had a contractor down there before. I thought, when did y'all have him start cleaning up down that contract? 'Cause we cut the grass, hedge, and all this stuff.
No, well, there's no routine landscape maintenance either, but that's not, we're not discussing that.
I'm talking about I'm talking about what we were doing down there. When did this contract begin with him?
We've had, well, there was someone before Jamie, was there not? We've
Yes.
had a housekeeping contract for years.
That's in your budget, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If any of y'all have pans in your attic, I imagine y'all will arrange to get them cleaned some kind of way.
Okay,
Oh,
so all the
otherwise that's
county
not
buildings, the employees are responsible for the,
Oh, I thought you were addressing the health department. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were countywide.
no, this is a county building, that's what, so the maintenance is up to,
If you got a maintenance man or a cleanup man, that's normal part of
You
it.
should be doing that.
You don't have a
Y'all should
maintenance
follow
man.
them up and make sure.
we don't have a maintenance person because it's a county
Somebody
building.
cleans the place.
Okay, so that should be in that contract.
Yes, it should.
Okay.
We didn't ask her. She mentioned a man's name, Mr. McDaniel. I know she didn't say Miss McDaniel, she said Mr. McDaniel, unless I heard correctly.
We were not
But
aware
not-
that that needed to be included in the housekeeping contract, but if that's something
Why
that,
on earth would you think it would be?
Who changed
You know
the
it's
filter?
going to ruin the ceiling.
they don't, that's just it.
All that should be
Because
in the
it's-
contract.
Sure it should.
She'll be
Okay.
changing the filter and all of that.
And you have to understand from our perspective,
Peanut place, go down there and this thing.
No, they got a contract, they got it in the budget.
They already got
No,
one in
they
their
got it in their budget.
okay,
Let
you have
them
to
do it.
understand from our
They got it in their
perspective, and
budget.
I'm just speaking from, because I work with district environmental health, I work in the district office in Macon. In the other 12 health departments that we work with that are also county buildings, county maintenance comes and maintains the heating and air system for the health department. We were not aware that in this particular case that the employees within the health department would be responsible for that. But if that's the way it works in this county, then that's how we'll need to handle
Now,
it. We
you
were not
have-
aware, and that's a good, then
Whoever
that's,
you got a contract
Contract.
for cleaning, I would think should be doing
That,
it.
I mean, that's just like emptying trash, vacuuming, mopping,
Well,
not.
just had to go up the ladder and turn the little thing, let the fan out. He could do that in 3 or 4 minutes.
okay, we can certainly add that to the contract.
Yeah,
But you
I-
have to understand that based on our experience in other counties, county maintenance
Yeah.
has handled.
Ma'am, let me say this here. I'm a kind of commissioner, Twiggs County. I don't care what other county do.
Okay,
You see what I'm
and that's
saying?
good, that's why we came to you, because we
Right.
didn't realize we were responsible for
Right,
that.
right, because I don't believe in people coming in here talking about what other county do and you fall behind them county, then you come back to the commission, then you got contract and say that, you know, it's not in the contract. You see, all that little small county like this here in that building, how many square feet in that little building down there in that building? You see, in other words, the bill is not that large for you can have that in your contract. It's not like a bill, like, not that
Okay.
large.
Then we
Because,
can-
because I come down there. I come down there to the health department. I'm the one who who have the rain in the building. I'm the one who come down there and inspect it. Like you said, the tile and all that stuff. You see, and so we got the money from our insurance company, you know? And when we advertised, was it advertised for that tile and stuff to be up there?
The first thing, and y'all want to take
Yeah.
those two builders, y'all sent them back and rebid it the second time, they didn't put it in the contract. The first time, ma'am, this man that won this contract was supposed to do all that work down there.
Because that insurance
But
paid us
they
for
wouldn't
that.
take that, they sent it back.
Okay, well, just,
The second time they put it in the paper, they just put the roof on there.
Well, you
The
still
first
have,
time I made sure everything was in there, he was supposed to paint the wall, do all that stuff.
do
But
we
no,
know
we couldn't
who
do
is
that.
responsible for replacing the ceiling
let
tiles?
me
Are
say
those
that.
tiles dropping like these are?
Yes,
How
it
about the
dropped.
squirrels
Just
coming in,
about
and the
somebody
squirrels
take it down.
still coming?
Well, as far as the drop ceiling goes, who do we need to get to replace the ceiling
If the
tiles?
sheriff has a full-time maintenance man, he may have time to do it.
Is the squirrel
We've
still
called
coming?
we've called and asked about the sheriff's maintenance guy, and we were told that
He did come and do some things, but
Is the squirrel still coming?
the squirrels are still, and I was gonna show
That
you
was in
guys.
that first contract too, that was covered, but no, we
These
couldn't
are-
go with these contracts.
These are pictures, this is, to give you perspective, this is in the attic. These are holes where squirrels are coming in the attic, and these are
You ain't gotta
traps.
show me, ma'am,
I
I've
know.
been up and seen.
These are traps that are set for the squirrels, and you can see the pecans that they bring
This
in
fella
and that
down
they're
there that won
eating,
this
but
contract start, we're gonna fix our building.
we have squirrels in the
No, we
attic that
couldn't
you
do
can
that.
hear
We had to get somebody else that just put a roof on.
routinely, and I have gone up there and set the traps, reset the traps.
Do you catch any of them?
They go and eat the pecans, but they trip the
You don't ever
traps.
catch, you don't ever catch any.
They trip the traps.
Squirrel, it's a
Yeah,
squirrel.
get squirrel.
That's what I was asking. You see, they're having a problem, the trap isn't
Yeah.
working. You can get a material, it's, squirrel off,
We just would like to be able to close the entryways and the soffit to keep them from coming in.
coming in there, yeah.
Is the soffit wide open?
Here's, in this picture right here, you can see the light that's coming in. This is an actual
I'm
hole.
talking about from the outside, can you
Help,
see the hole
Yes,
where
sir.
he's
These
coming in?
squirrels kill like a rat.
And what is the
And then
soffit?
you got
Is it
no
lay-in,
electrical
vinyl, or
wire.
is
It's
it wood?
vinyl.
I mean, he'll chew
And
on
then
them.
there's
Like
also
laying
wood.
First man that
Yes.
won this bill, now we're gonna fix all
Gosh, that would
I
seem to
like
be
it.
simple.
But that's
So
like
we should
I
just-
was.
In fact, about 3
I
weeks
like it.
that.
ago, one of
Model
them,
turned into 17 power.
about 3 weeks
Man,
ago, a
fine.
squirrel died in the wall, and the
I got
stench
the
in the
list
health
of all
department
this
was
stuff.
so severe that, I mean, it was obvious an animal died, and we could not find the squirrel in the attic, so we knew it was in the wall, and we couldn't get rid of it. We've got clients coming in.
You smell it, too, don't you?
It was awful.
Dead rat smell, whether they have a fuzzy tail or not.
It smelled really, really bad, and one of the air conditioning unit, or the heating unit went out
He got in there.
during all that, the single-digit temperatures we had, and we had to close the health department 2 weeks ago because it was so cold in the health department.
Off the subject, Lowe, what did y'all bait the trap with?
Pecans.
Gotta bring him.
But we're surrounded by pecan trees, so they can also eat out something.
What else wrong, man?
Well, I mean, in general, those are just some of the maintenance issues. I mean, we have general maintenance issues too that we try to address as they come up. I think our request is if we could have general maintenance checks on occasion, since it is a county building. If what I'm hearing is that we're responsible for the general maintenance, then that's something that we need to factor in our budget when we come to you guys each year with our budget request, because we don't factor that in.
I think housekeeping would cover the category of cleaning out the drainage pans underneath the
And
air
changing the
conditioner.
filters.
In any place, I would think that would come under that.
Okay,
If I'm
As
not,
far as the squirrels getting in and out, that's something that, we had contracted to have done, did we not?
the bats. we do.
Yeah, but y'all turned them down and sent it back and put it back in the paper, but it wasn't put back in the paper in the second advertisement. The only thing put in the paper second time was the roof. But all this was covered the first time around. I think we ought to, well, fix this place. The health department does, serves a vital purpose to Twiggs County, inoculations. I see on the paper about these folks getting measles all over. Well, these people going to do the inoculation at the school system, am I correct?
yes, sir.
These older people coming in
We serve as a primary healthcare provider for the county.
for the county. That's the only thing we got. We haven't got a doctor. The only thing we got is this health department.
Well, let me say this, Mr. Chairman.
Say it.
I know that I've been down there, they have called
Yeah, I've
me.
been down there, I climbed up there, seen all this stuff, they talking about the pan and the squirrels running loose. We need to fix this.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think there's any opposition to fixing anything.
Let
But
me,
what-
let me
What
say
I
this,
wanna do
Mr.
is,
Chairman.
what I wanna do is this, Mr. Bryant, cause we don't wanna just blow something out of the wall or even there. There are certain maintenance duties. If you got somebody you're paying, he should do that.
But it's
Now,
not
when you get to,
maintenance, sir. I mean,
it is maintenance to drain the water out of your heat and
Okay.
cooling unit.
But we just have a cleaning, like emptying trash, vacuuming.
Yeah, well, add to, we go up there and turn that to it, cause that's in his duties. Now, when you get the carpenter work to seal off the surface where the animal won't get in there, that's carpentry work. We can handle that. But to say that we're gonna put somebody else on to go down there and you know, do this regular work, and you already got somebody, just add that to his duty. He have plenty of times he doesn't do anything but dump trash. And as far as that rug, if you don't see any, if it smells, you don't see any mold, you're saying mold because it's wet. But if it's mold, the whole rug's gonna have to come up and be destroyed. No, you can't just air it out. That's my point.
Right.
If it's mold there, we're talking about something different. But is it mold there, or do you just suspect mold by it being wet?
Based on the fact that it was wet for several days, based on
There's a
the
mold
fact
there.
that
Did you see the mold, Mr. Chairman?
No, but I can guarantee you that.
No, you can't
Miss-
do it unless you do something like that. What-
if you would like, we could have,
It might be, Mr. Chairman, I'm not opposing that. I'm trying to get to the detail of what our problems are here.
Alright, let's go.
To actually
Yeah,
get
you
somebody
ain't
to
got
find
nothing
out
to
if there's mold
We
is
got advice,
thousands
Tim.
of dollars.
we
Yeah.
can, based on, because there's a certification, I have Healthy Homes.
I understand you gotta keep
which-
it healthy now.
and
I understand that. What
I
I'm
can tell
asking
you-
is, you claim mold,
Right.
which will be a different outlay of money. If it's mold, the carpet's gonna have to come up.
There's a small area, it's probably a 20 by 12 or 20 by 15 square foot area that was affected, that was wet for several days.
I
And
understand
anytime
that.
carpeting is wet for that period of time without drying out, there's gonna be mold.
Not necessarily. Mold comes from spores.
Y'all don't have the instruments to test
let's
it
get-
yourself? At the district?
I'm
At the district level, don't y'all have the instruments to check for
The
mold?
mold,
I can get those, yes, sir.
And without costing $1,000, right?
I can have those brought in from the state office, yes, sir.
For free.
well, do that, cause what we're talking about,
In a sense,
a
yes,
few,
sir.
few $100 ain't gonna put you a new carpet. You see, you gotta do the underlay, you gotta pay to dispose of it if it's got mold in it. You just can't carry it out and dump it somewhere. Then you're gonna have to put a new, this is what we're trying to get at. What are we dealing with money-wise and who can do it?
I understand.
Let
Our
me ask,
concern is our
let me ask you
employees.
this here. All of that, you got a list of everything that in there. So what we had in our file with our insurance the first time, it was for the roof and stuff. So now, you give us a list so we can call our insurance company.
But they paid us for everything else, cause we had some money left over.
But now, sure, but now they got some more
We
issues,
did that. We
but,
filed a claim, all that other stuff was on there.
but see, what the carpet and all that stuff wasn't on the claim. If they talking about 2 and 3 and 4 thousand.
The carpet was
No,
on
The
cop-
adjuster came and looked at all the walls,
Wall.
all the floor, the carpet,
All that was
the
on
roof,
there.
It was on it.
everything.
Everything.
And the only thing that
And
got
that's the
done
reason we
was the
got money
roof.
left after we put the roof on
How
it.
much do we have left?
How much you have
It was
left, Brian?
around 3,500, I believe.
Got $3,500 that was on this claim, these ratings are correct.
So you're talking about the rug,
And that first bid had all this stuff.
the
And
paint,
they was well below that.
the rug, this is your problem, the rug, the paint, and the ceiling tile.
And we have some ceiling tiles there, they're sitting in the hallway, but they just haven't been put up.
Been installed, are they replacement or is for the whole
Just like-
thing?
It's a drop
Yeah, those
ceiling.
panels
I understand it very, very well. What I'm asking is, what you have or to replace a few of them or to replace the whole room?
Just the ones that are damaged is all we're asking.
Yeah, but if you put those up, then the ceiling's gonna look terrible.
We just want to replace the ones that.
Oh, Okay, okay. You need the ceiling, you need the paint, and you think you're gonna need new rug.
Are y'all going to make arrangements to keep that pan draining, because otherwise this will.
You gonna have your problem
Now
right
that we know it's our responsibility,
I
we'll
think
ask.
there's actually a problem with the way it was piped.
Well,
When the building, I mean, I'm not sure.
we've been told by a certified plumber that there's a problem with the way it's piped, but
If that, then you need
No,
to
it-
bring that to us in detail.
I'm writing it down now. Well, we get somebody to go in there and look at it, see what you need. And try to,
that would be great.
see about
Because if
getting
that
it
isn't
done.
fixed, then everything else is gonna come
Just
right
wasting
back down
time.
again.
Just wasting time. Gonna have a problem again tomorrow.
You got $3,500 left of his insurance.
We understand that, but we gonna fix it and we gonna
We do
refile.
everything else around,
Mhm.
look like we ought to look at his health department.
Nobody,
Vital service to Twiggs County, Georgia.
Mr. Chairman, we all understand that.
Well, let's
Nobody denying it.
do- Let's
and
go on and do something about it.
We're gonna do something about it. But we first gotta find out what we must do.
Let's
We
put
just
in
don't
for-
run out, somebody, we gonna tear up the world when it ain't
Take
broke.
that first bid that he put in that newspaper.
Let's
and
put
the
in
outline
for
of what you need
a
to do.
grant for health department. Let's call our senators and representatives and see can't they get us money to build a new health department.
We gotta need it, that thing new.
I'm
We
talking
just
about.
need some reworking done
So
to
we
it.
just-
Well, that's it. Well, we need to get them renovated then. This
The other thing
Repair
we
what's
need,
there.
the other thing we need
You
is
take
the,
out- air conditioning in the ceiling.
you just mentioned it, to keep the rope,
Squirrels.
Stop, yeah.
Now, what do we need to do on our end to move this forward? Is
I'm gonna make a motion just in about a minute.
Okay.
I think
First
it'll
thing you
handle all
need to
that.
do is make sure that you have a system set up to keep that drain pan clean.
We will do that, yes, sir.
I also motion, Mr. Chairman, that, we verify the condition. She's gonna verify the rug, whether it's contaminated. And, we go in and inspect it. And we let bids to get this fixed.
Got a second?
Second.
How you vote? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I make
Get
a
this
motion.
thing down to, if they can test this and see if it'll mold that.
Mm-hmm.
And you laughed a while ago when you said it was free, ain't nothing special. Don't worry about it. Taxpayers will pay for it, we'll pay for it.
Mr.
Who
Chairman,
said something was free?
Let's watch
I
the
said the testing of that using
Yeah.
district equipment is absolutely
But
no
somebody-
additional, no, look at
And you
this.
need to get that
There's no
little kit.
additional cost to the taxpayer, state level or local.
state papers already paid.
And
No, it's already paid for, it's no additional tax.
What you got, Mr.
Mr.
Bryant?
Chairman, this demagoguing you're doing is getting real old.
Well, this was settled 3, 4, 5, 6, but like over a year ago, but no, we couldn't
We
do that.
understand you're trying to take.
What you got,
measures.
Mr. Bryant?
We have, there's a little kit that you can check with. State has them. Get one of those. I think about $15. So I'm pretty sure, do you have people coming in asking you to do that at their homes?
Not from
That-
mold, no, sir, because there's
Okay.
not, there's no safe level of mold, there's no established.
No, but
safe
it
level,
establishes
so-
whether it's there. I understand that. That's a
Right.
little kit. I get you one.
Okay, I'll say, we have equipment, we don't have kits.
Okay, well, you can check it
I
and let us
expect
know
they
what
got
we're
some really
doing.
good stuff.
Okay.
Mr.
Eh, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Bryant.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we contact our state representatives and our state senators, see can they come up with some type of revenue to renovate the health department in Twiggs County.
Mr. Hold your point, we already have a motion on the floor.
Oh, okay.
We just voted on that, we approved that.
You approved it? Okay.
I second his motion.
Okay.
All right, got a motion, how you vote, yes?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
We get to you in a few days.
Okay, I just want to mention one more thing, and then I'll go away. We have currently in place a system, we have 2 refrigerators and 1 freezer that holds about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of vaccine. There's a system in place where if the power goes out, that we are notified, but no one that works at the health department currently lives in the county. We do have in place in most of the health departments generators, where when the power goes out, the generator will automatically cut on, not to power the entire health department, but just to power those refrigerators with that vaccine, because any drop in temperature for any period of time can cause a loss of that vaccine, which would have to be, most of it, replaced at our cost. Some of it is state supplied, some of it is not. And we need to look at acquiring a generator that will run at least those 2 refrigerators, the freezer, and possibly a computer in the event that there is a power loss. I'm in the process of getting quotes for those. And one of the things that we wanted to ask is that if there would be some way that the commissioners might be able to help us with that in the upcoming budget year.
You mean, we've done this year's budget, for 2015, are you talking about amending that or next year's?
The fiscal year that would be starting.
I think we're on different years.
Our fiscal is calendar.
Y'all on
Right.
July,
Your
right?
fiscal
Yeah,
is
ours
6
starts July. Yes, sir.
Our
So-
fiscal is calendar.
Right,
Annual.
starting our fiscal year, which would be July.
You gonna get us some bids on this?
Yes, sir, I'm in the process of getting those, but we're not asking to run like the
The
whole.
ones
health
that I've
department.
seen before, several years ago, was a bunch of them that I had something to do with around 3,500. But I don't, that's probably more now, I doubt it's less. Talking about propane tank, everything.
Yeah, the ones that have
In
gone.
this case, it'd be natural gas, I guess, so, wouldn't it? Yeah.
The ones that have gone on our smaller health departments have been under $5,000. But, I mean, they're automatic, they would come on, we
Yeah,
would
well,
not have to
I'm
drive
talking
them out
about
of
come on
town.
too. 20-second delay, they come on.
Right,
Let me say this here. I have a generator. I've been heading out for about 3 years. What that generator do, I think it's better than a generator, because that generator come on, you said it. Mine come on every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. And it run for about 5 minutes. You
right.
see what I'm saying? Then it go off. That, in other words, it keep your battery, keep everything in function with that generator. But you gonna get a generator that only come on when the lights go out. See, something might could go wrong with it within that time.
Right, well, you would have to test it monthly or whatever the schedule is to make sure that it's.
Okay, well, see, mine tested every week. That generator could be tested every week. You can set the time, the date, and everything. Come on, it come on every week. And so that way that you know that it's still functioning. When the light go out, boom, it's automatic. Come on.
Well, if there would be a testing schedule set up for it, it may be automatic.
Do y'all have a test for the generator you have now? Do they come over there and test it, or is it automatic tested itself?
The one at the district office is automatic. The
But the
one that
one-
we have at the district
Yeah,
office.
but
We don't
what-
have one at the health department now, no,
You
sir.
don't have one.
Is yours operate off natural gas or propane tank?
That I do not know.
You have natural available, so it's probably
Natural gas. Mine operate on natural gas. Y'all have to do this switch. They got to switch from propane to natural gas. That's all you have to do. It's got a button on it. You always got to do that switch. That's all.